Hey collective, welcome back to another class. We're going to do the brow chakra, also known as the third eye or the Aar-t. I believe is how you pronounce it. The color of this one is indigo or blue indigo. That's what I have found. Crystals. Now the crystals, okay, I got a lot of crystals for this one. Hold up, let me get to it. The crystals are what we have. We have lapis lazuli, purple fluorite, sugilite, blues quartz, spinel, tourmaline, sapphire. We also have solidite, azurite, lapis pencil, canite, as well. Yeah, I already said blue tourmaline. The metal that is with the third eye is silver. The smells are jasmine and lavender. And it's very interesting how a lot of the, how the Chime and the Aar-t chakras have a lot of similarities with either colors or crystals. It's very interesting on that. But as well, it's just because they correlate so closely together with, the Aar-t being the pituitary gland, and the Chime being the pineal gland. But the planets for this are Jupiter, the Moon, and Saturn. Now, the Moon makes the most sense for the third eye, as the metal of it is silver, and the Moon is represented by the metal silver. But I can see how Jupiter and Saturn also rule over the third eye, and it's because of what the third eye is used for. It's used for not only perception, which can be seen as intellect or intelligence, but as well as wisdom, because they fit on the same spectrum. Jupiter being wisdom, Saturn being intelligence. But as well as that, just the third eye being in the middle of the right and the left, it makes a lot of sense for Jupiter and Saturn to kind of rule this. Jupiter being more of a spiritual planet, just a, more of luck, more of destiny, while Saturn has a lot to do with fate and karma, time, the physical world. It makes a lot of sense for that. The note is A, or 440 hertz. The deity is Horus. Now, when I was looking at why the deity was Horus, it actually made a lot more sense, because the brow chakra is also known as the eye of Horus, as it is the chakra, the eye, that is associated with psychic visions, clairvoyance, clairaudience, and telepathy. As well as the throat chakra relates to telepathy as well. And I will say as well for this, the third eye chakra is a very, very sensitive chakra. Every other chakra will affect the third eye chakra, for every other chakra has to go to the third eye before it hits the crown. So it doesn't matter how distorted the energy gets up to the third eye. If you're able to, at the third eye, transmute, the energy from the one phase to the next, so that you can get to the crown and have a more clear crown, or a clearer vision, or a clearer way through, that's very possible. It very much is. Yeah, it is with Horus, as Horus had the left eye plucked out in the battle between him and Set, because Horus wanted to kill Set. Due to Set killing Osiris, and Isis said no. So then he went anyway, got his eye plucked out. Isis restored his eye. But Horus is a very spiritual, and the third eye is a very spiritual. When you see with your third eye, you spiritualize, as it's the one eye that relates to the spiritual realm. Now the elements for this is all the elements and light. The mantra is the affirmation is, my inner self is awake, alert, and protected. And this is super important to know, because your third eye helps you to perceive things not only spiritually, but things on the physical in a more spiritual way. So if you can recite this whenever you feel afraid or feel like you're under attack or feel as if you aren't able to clearly see a situation or a path through, it will very much ground and center you. And is again the what is it called actually? It's in this book. Let me check real quick. The mentalism principle is as above, so below, which is another very interesting thing that I found. The reflexology of this is very fun. Bottom of the big toe and the first crease of the first four fingers. Now, again, if you are needing help with concentration for the third eye, squeezing the first crease of the thumb. This is the right hand, by the way. Concentration with the first center thumb. Authority. And this is how you would get clarity, by the way. If you need help with clarity, I would just say it like this, actually. Yeah, if you need help with clarity, it's the right hand. If you need help with wisdom, it's the left hand. I'm just going to say it like that. It's the first crease. I think that's a better way of doing it. We've already said the gland is the pituitary, but the emotion is clarity. Because the third eye is allowed to help you see a clearer way through. The realm is the Duat realm, which is the astral realm. Duat also is the underworld, or the afterlife, you could say as well. And Anubis is in charge of opening the gate to Duat. So for those that work with Anubis, if you are having third eye issues, you can work with Anubis and he will definitely help you. He's also known as the wave payer, the wave maker, you know what I'm trying to say. I think I said that backwards or something. Dyslexia kicked in, but whatever. But it's the astral realms. If you have issues with astral travels or you feel like you're being attacked in the astrals, protect your third eye. Do some third eye protections. You can wear like those sleep masks that cover up your eye and your forehead. You can wear one of those and put like a clear quartz, a black tourmaline, it's one of those, maybe even like a tiger's eye if you're really feeling like going somewhere and having luck with it. Doing those things. Amethyst as well is coming through, or just any of the crystals that are here as well, regardless. But doing that would really help. Foods that are good for the third eye are eggplant, beetroot, and black plums. Any like indigo or purple dark food. So like purple grapes, yeah, make sure they have seeds in them. Don't get the seedless one because the seedless ones have chemicals sprayed all over them. If you're eating if you're eating seedless food, it's messed with chemicals. Keep the seeds in. It's better that way. I know that a lot of people are raised to not eat seed foods because you're afraid of growing plants in your tummy, but you need the seeded food because the seeds are what help keep the nutrients intact. And when they remove those seeds by doing all sorts of like DNA fucking with it changes the food. You're eating a modified genetics, and it modifies your genetics as well because that's what you're ingesting. The senses for this are thought and intellect, which is interesting why intellect was there. I didn't really find out why for intellect, other than it just being on the spectrum of wisdom and intellect. But your third eye has a lot to do with how you think, because it's how you're able to perceive not only externally but internally as well. The area of effect, I like to call it that, of the Arats, I should start saying it that way, is the brain, the left eye, the ears, the nose, the central nervous system. You know, anything on the face, the holes of the face. When your Arat chakra is, I got the hiccups right now. But when the Arat is overactive, you become obsessive and arrogant and pushy, and and hasteful, very like big. And it can become underactive. It can become underactive, and you can become disconnected from it, or it can become overactive if you're around a lot of illusions. If you're around a lot of smoke and mirrors, if people are playing in your face and you're picking it up with your intuition, but you're not listening to it, that also can mess with it. A lack of trust in self can also mess with the Arat chakra. It is very important to trust yourself. Super important to trust yourself, because that's where you're able to perceive. And if you're unable to perceive that you can trust yourself, then you're going to have a lot of issues in that realm. But an overactive is obsession and an underactive and an overactive is like obsession, arrogance, inflexibility, a lot of confusion. You'll feel depressed. You'll feel separated, like you feel like you are missing a second part of you. You'll be around a lot of illusions. There'll be a lot of fear. Mourning is also something that's connected to the third eye. It's also connected to the heart. And I need to say this as well. If the heart chakra is unaligned and out of balance, it will put your Arat into shock. Now, I'm going to say what the heart is. It's ab. It's AB. It's ab. But that's the heart. That's the heart. And when that's out of balance, the Arat goes into shock, because it is unable to perceive with pure divine love, and it's only able to perceive that which the ego or the intellect is able to get. Because without getting the wisdom, and wisdom comes a lot from the heart chakra. When the divine gives you wisdom, it goes from the heart to the third eye to the crown. It goes up. And if you have to speak about it, it goes up, and then down to the throat. Energy does not move linearly. Remember this always. Energy jumps around. People think that Kundalini energy is like a straight stagnant thing. You can have, a lot of other chakras activated, but there could be one that's not activated, and that could be your issue too. Remember, this is how energy is. This energy. It doesn't rule off of rules of order. It's a very chaotic thing. It goes where it needs to go. But a connected Arat is clear, very focused. It's almost like the magician effect, where you're able to see a way through anything and be able to stick to it and go through. It also relates a lot with the six senses, you know what I mean? Its association, though, is serenity, stillness, imagination, spirituality, wisdom, and also unibrows. I have done a little bit of research, and from it, I have found that many leaders have unibrows. And, it's like, is the Arat chakra's power amplified by having hair over top of it? I would say yes. Especially if you are a 9 ether being. 6 ether beings have fur, 9 ether beings have hair. It's genetics. But it allows, because hair doesn't attract much from the divine. It's the antennas that is in the 9 ether that allows, it acts like a receptor, an antenna, I should say. So going through that, you'll see that a lot of leaders have like a unibrow, as well as like just having something to cover the Arat as well, to keep it protected. You'll even notice in a lot of faiths and religions and however's, a lot of different belief systems, they'll even cover up the Arat for that reason, for protection, so that it can be received from the divine, so that it's, what I mean. I can't speak too much on different religion stuff. I haven't dug in too much on that. So if you have, anything you would like to add to that, please do. As well as anything as well. I plan on letting these things just be very introductory. I don't plan on going into crazy detail about these, because we should already know about the chakra system. I just wish to tell the more comedic side of it rather than however else. You know what I mean? It's just how we're doing it over here. You know what I mean? But another thing with the third eye has to do a lot as well with creativity. If you are unable to feel creative, do some third eye or some Arat works as well, because it will help you almost see where your imagination is trying to poke through and where you almost restrict it from being as open as it needs to be. And that's not like a bad thing, but it's super important. So if you're having issues with doing something creative, or you're having problem solving issues, it's the rot. So, and even like laying down on the ground and having a bottle of water on top of your forehead and imagining like the water from the bottle is going from the bottle into the pituitary and pineal glands, and watering them and moisturizing them, that helps as well. Like, it really does. But nurturing water really helps. Again, just indigos and blues, indigo blue colors, being around those help. I'm trying to think what else, because there was something else the Spirit wanted me to talk about with this, but I cannot remember. Yeah, okay. So I'll read this. When the Kundalini energy or serpent power rises and reaches the spiritual clarity, the chakra of the third eye is activated. This symbolized by the Ajit snake on the forehead of the Egyptian pharaohs. The Egyptians called this practice the awakening of Kundalini serpent power, because the spine is like a snake, and that energy is flowing as an energetic snake. But yeah, it's also why the Egyptian pharaohs wore what they wore. That was their signifying. That was them being like, that's their anointing, if you will. That was their power, to show that they have fully understood who they are in their own power, and that they are in the right energy to rule. But that is what we have for the Ajat chakra. Thank you all so much for being here. And again, like I said, it's going to be short things. I need to get these things out of the way. I just feel like doing it. So we're going to do this, and then we're going to move on to deeper, better things. But this is just, again, like introductory, just a refresh. Also to show you as well, moving forward, what chakras might be giving you issues, what during learning, or what could be blocking you from understanding or from accepting certain things. So I feel this is more of Spirit kind of laying out seeds to be understood later again, because it's very interesting. I let Spirit run this channel. That's why things are always changing, because I really just let Spirit do what Spirit needs to do with this. Of course it's mine, and of course I have control over it, but I would love, and I appreciate that Spirit comes through and finds home and safety here as well. So of course I'm going to let them do what they can do to make this place homey for them. But regardless, that is what I have for you for the Ajat chakra. Thank you so much for being here. I love you all so much. Everything's in the description. Y'all know the drill. But I will see you later.